Hello everyone, my name is Havian and today I'm going to be showing you One Piece Burning Blood to help you decide if this is a game that you should play. I have been playing this for a few days and I am a One Piece fan, but I'm not really into fighting games as much as I used to be. So I thought I'd make a video to help people understand what they can expect from this game, since it's not your traditional kind of fighting game. One Piece Burning Blood is a fighting game developed by Spike Chunsoft, who are more widely known for games like Danganronpa. But they did develop J-Star's Victory, so this isn't their first attempt at a fighting game. So for those of you that have played J-Stars, you may already have a vague idea of what you could expect, whether or not that is a good or bad thing. But this game uses a rock paper scissors style tag battle system that promotes character switching to counter your opponents. Each character is going to have their own strengths and weaknesses, so that means some characters will be really powerful against certain other characters, or some characters may even be rendered useless against certain opponents. All characters use the same button inputs, but the moves that they do will differ from character to character. Some inputs that may allow one character to evade may make another character attack, for instance. Along with your main team of up to 3 different characters, you'll be able to select 3 support characters. These support characters can give your parties buffs during battles, but each character that you'll select will have a grade cost assigned to them, so you would need to pick the best party setup and stay within the grade cap for that particular game mode. Now the combat system may seem very shallow at first because the game doesn't do the best job of explaining how everything works, but once you manage to wrap your head around the fact that it's not a traditional fighter and it plays more like an action game that focuses on special moves, you'll start to understand and grasp things a little bit better. During combat you'll be able to use light and heavy attacks, jumps, blocks, guard breaks, tag other team members in, use special attacks and awakenings. Light attacks can be used to form small combos, but they can also be combined with heavy attacks, guard breaks and special attacks depending on the situation. Depending on the character, some special attacks can be extended or linked into other special attacks to continue combos. It can be pretty overwhelming when you first start the game and you're caught in a barrage of attacks from the opponent, but there are a few ways you can evade and counter those attacks. If you hold block, you can avoid taking damage from frontal attacks. If you push block at the same time as an opponent attacks, then you'll be able to perform a flash guard and nullify any incoming damage. And pushing forward and light attack at the same time while being attacked will perform a counter attack. During the fights, most characters will only have to pay attention to their HP, burning and ability gauges, but some characters may have other things they'll need to pay attention to or manage during the fights. HP is pretty obvious. Every character's got their own health bar, and once it's depleted, that character's out of the fight. The ability gauge is used for certain Devil Fruit abilities and Haki. Devil Fruits are what gives certain characters within One Piece special powers. And some Devil Fruit users will have abilities that make normal attacks phase right through them. Using those abilities will consume some of the ability bar. To stop your basic attacks phasing right through some of these Devil Fruit users, some other characters can use Haki, and these will allow these attacks to connect with your opponent. And this is where a part of the whole rock paper scissors style system comes into play. The burning gauge is used for awakening and partner assists. Awakening will give your character a boost of power for a short period of time, and some characters may transform and have a new set of attacks during awakening. While in awakening, you'll have access to a finishing move that can deal huge amounts of damage to the enemy, so it's a move that could turn the tide in the fight. But that's not all the burning gauge can be used for. When you're being attacked, you can use some of the burning gauge to tag your partner ring to counter attack for you. Or you can tag a team member in after using certain moves that knock the enemies away. Or if your opponent is trying to counter your attack with their partner, you can use your partner to counter that counter. But that too will consume some of your burning gauge. Well, now that you have a vague idea of how the combat works, you probably want to know what kind of modes you can use them in. When you first start Burning Blood, you'll only be able to select the Paramount War mode, but other game modes will unlock as you start progressing through the game. The Paramount War mode functions as a storyline for the game. The story follows the Marineford arc of the anime from the perspective of 4 different characters. Each character will have fights that they will need to win or survive through in order to progress. Some of the main story missions will have hidden requirements that need to be fulfilled, and you'll unlock extra battles once those requirements are met. These extra battles will be harder than usual, but you can unlock some extra characters for completing them. The story is presented as pre-rendered cutscenes and a few still images from the anime that explain some of the deeper details of the story. But honestly, the story isn't explained well enough to get people that are unfamiliar with it to understand or care about what's happening. it generally won't be understood by anyone that hasn't seen the Marineford arc of the anime or read up to that point in the manga. The story skips past major details just so the game can jump from fight to fight. And because you are seeing the same storyline from the perspective of 4 different people, you'll find that some of the cutscenes and fights are reused multiple times throughout the different episodes. So by the time you reach like the 3rd episode, things start getting a bit repetitive. The storyline just feels like it's there to tick boxes, and honestly it doesn't really feel like it adds much to the game, apart from a reason to unlock characters. But once you got far enough into the storyline, there are other game modes that you can play. One of those is free battles, where you can fight against a computer or another player, and a training mode where you can practice to find your best team setups. The game also has a standard online versus mode where you can play in ranked matches or in matches with customizable rules. Another game mode is the Pirate Flag Battle. This is an online mode where you'll need to take over as many areas as you can before the season ends. Your opponents will be standard computer controlled enemies, other players, and raid battles that put you up against much stronger enemies that require group effort to take down. Traveling to different islands in this mode and fighting in battles will consume your blog post energy. Eventually it will refill slowly over time, but you'll need to spend a large amount of in-game money if you want to refill it instantly and continue playing in this mode. And the final game mode is called Wanted Versus. This mode has you taking on challenge style battles for rewards. Some of these battles will be against opponents that rotate over time and may seem to pop up randomly when you enter the game mode, and others will be preset battles that have special conditions that need to be met in order to win over various different difficulty levels. To make things easier and smoother in these game modes, you can use the pirate base to buy new characters and create preset teams that can be used in the various game modes. No single character will have an advantage over everyone else because there's always going to be another character that can counter them. So it's best to create a balanced team so you can have all of your bases covered. It's worth pointing out that this game is not going to be one for everyone. The rock paper scissors style gameplay and the lack of flexible combos may be a turn off for some people. But if you can shake the expectations of this being a traditional fighter and understand and accept what it really is, then you'll find a surprisingly deep and enjoyable game. It does have a small tutorial at the start, but it doesn't really explain itself very well, and some people may end up being put off by the combat system and end up writing it off as shallow and confusing. But in the end, the game is fun and the gameplay mechanics are solid. But having prior knowledge as a One Piece fan will put you at a huge advantage since you'll have an idea already of the character's movesets, strengths and weaknesses. But here's the main question, is the game worth playing? Well, if you're a One Piece fan that's been waiting for a One Piece fighting game that feels like One Piece, then this is for you. Or if you're someone that's interested in playing a fighting game that's not afraid to do things slightly different, then this may be worth a look. But if you're a person that enjoys traditional fighting games, then this is probably one you should avoid. I wouldn't recommend this to you. But it's worth noting that if you're a One Piece fan like me, that tried the demo and you didn't really enjoy it, but you're still kind of curious in the game, I'd say give it a try. There's a good chance you'll end up enjoying it as much as I did. At first I tried the demo and I didn't enjoy it, but I thought I'd give the full game a try, and it turns out it's a lot better than I expected. The game isn't perfect, but if anything you've seen has interested you, then it may be worth trying out. This game is One Piece Burning Blood. It's available on PlayStation 4, PS Vita, Xbox One and PC. So if you are considering playing it, you can pick it up on one of those platforms. If you did enjoy this video, then please leave it a like. If you know anyone that is interested in this game, or if you're part of a community that may want to know more about One Piece Burning Blood, then send this video over to them. If you do want to see more videos about One Piece Burning Blood or similar games, then I suggest you subscribe. But until my next video, I'll see you all later.